Well, ladies and gents, I'm very excited to talk about this one today. Netflix, Season 3, Episode 9. We're not in the studio today. In fact, for some reason, my locks on the, the studio, they weren't working today. So I've had to get on to the landlord. Bit messy, but it's not a problem. We're going to just do it here from my apartment at home. But guys, I'm just looking at my notes here, and I think this is a really, really exciting episode. I mean, you can see there's this Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris, they're teammates here. And there's this incredible dynamic between the drivers. A real bromance, but with an edge, right? And like they share the deep camaraderie, a mutual respect that only comes from facing the same high stakes pressure. But at the same time, they're rivals. They want to beat each other, crush the competition, and like that's where the magic is happening here. It's a fascinating mix of brotherhood and fierce rivalry. One moment they're sharing laughs, the next they're gunning for each other on the track. And I'm just looking at my notes here, guys, and to go through the best parts, and even the tension, the energy, like it's thrilling to watch and even more exciting to talk about it. So, guys, this is what we're getting into today. Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris, teammates at McLaren. Some people have even said, does Lando Norris fancy Carlos Sainz? Yeah, because it's a little weird. Now, this is coming from an ex-racing driver here, lads. Yes, you can definitely get on with the guy, and like we just talked about, you want to kill each other, but then at the same time, you'll have a beer with each other. And even with teammates, it's not like you've got a bond with them because you're going to war against each other. The real brotherhood can be with drivers, yes, but this is a bit in deep waters here. This is a bit getting on too much. So it's hard for me to get my head around this one. It really is. Is Lando Norris gay? No problem if he is. It does look like he does fancy him. And I don't know, man. You'd wonder. But looking at the episode today, guys, like we can see now, we're zooming into Carlos Sainz now in the wet conditions at the Austrian A1 ring. And, he's a very, very good wet driver. Absolutely brilliant. He's one of the best out there. He does lack pace in the dry, but you can definitely see he's got the wet weather gift. And his dad, as we all know, or many people know, he was Carlos Sainz Sr., one of the greatest rally drivers of all time. There's no two ways about it. So obviously he's got some skills from his dad. It's interesting too because you could see the track getting a lot wetter as the sessions go on. Now, some people think, lads, that's that's even worse. It's actually better because if you're on the wet tires, lads, and that the track starts to dry up, now you could go in for a pit stop, okay, and Formula One has the pit stops. But if you're out in one race and you don't have time for a pit stop or their pit stops aren't allowed, that's not a good situation to be in because the greasiness is actually more slippier than the wet conditions. You rather have it to be bucketing down if you're going to be on the wets and if you're getting a bit of a momentum, rhythm into your wet skills. The wetter, the better, really. So if you do see the tracks getting wetter, well, definitely. Because sometimes, I mean, you can even see this in, if you remember, guys, we were reviewing in, I think it was season 2, right? When the Silverstone track, not Hockenheim track, and it was really bad. I mean, a lot of the drivers went off. Some of the track was very, very wet in parts. Then on the other end of the track, it was very greasy. So that it was really causing a lot of chaos, confusion, wondering what to do, which direction to go. Are we going to go from wets onto the intermediates, lads? Are we going to go from intermediates onto wets? Are we going to go from wets to dries to wets? They just didn't know where to go. So it is very, very tricky in those conditions. So definitely, like we're saying, the wetter, the better. Greasy conditions, the slippiest conditions out there. And it was very strange. And, you'll see this in in the episode when Lando is getting odd that Carlos is leaving. Now, some might say that, oh, well, maybe Lando's jealous of the fact that he's going to Ferrari. Every driver in the world wants to drive for Ferrari at some stage, lads. There's no two ways about it. And I don't think it even comes down to jealousy for this episode. I actually think it's more he's not going to be around his bro again. I'm actually going that direction. Very strange. Excuse me, guys. And here we go then, and we pan over to the Ferrari team in Italy at Monza, the Tifosi. I've said it before and I'll say it again. They're probably the greatest fans in the world, the the Tifosi. They're so passionate about it. 1 minute they love you, 2 minutes later they absolutely detest you if you drive for Ferrari. It's very, very cruel. It's harsh. So it can be a great thing for a driver if he does well, and especially if he does well at Monza and at the Italian Grand Prix. He's a hero. But if things go wrong, oh boy, do the drivers have to pay for it. I mean, they'll just get slated in the media. Very, very cruel. It can be a great thing and a bad thing. Now, one other thing as well, we did see it at Monza here, is that 1 minute that Carlos Sainz is behind Kimi Räikkönen. Now, the team owner, the team engineer, he comes on to Carlos and he says, you can be patient with Räikkönen. Now, some people would say, well, why would he be patient? Surely he should be going as fast as he can, overtake a guy as fast as he can. Sometimes, yes, guys, that is a good method, but sometimes, actually, it's not. Because what Carlos is doing, he's realized, and the engineer, they realize that they don't have the overall pace to completely dominate the field. So what they've got to do is they've got to realize, okay, look, we are quicker than Räikkönen, but we don't have the huge pace. Now, if it was Max Verstappen's car, well then, that's a totally different scenario. You get past Räikkönen fast as you can and get up into the first position. But with him, Carlos has to keep an eye on the tires, keep an eye on the engine wear, the tire wear, especially with the heat down there. So he knows, Carlos and the engineer, that, right, we don't have the overall pace, just pace yourself, give yourself maybe 2, maybe even 3 laps to just go handy behind him, get the car, get the recharge and the battery back up again, and then they go from there. So that's why you'll see sometimes when you've got the drivers that if they do pace themselves, as they call it, there's a method here. It's strategy. So just wanted to throw that out. But guys, we're going to nearly wrap it up now. I just put down my notes. But the last one I see here, and it's funny, at the end of the episode here, Lando and Carlos are sitting next to each other, and they said, "Will you miss each other when you're gone next year, Carlos?" And Lando just goes, "Oh well, he doesn't mention it, but then he does say, oh well, I'll wave at him when I'm passing." Now that is definitely a up yours to Carlos, obviously, and that's what racing drivers do. You know, you do throw a dig every now and then, but there's no doubt about it, guys. You know, what do we think? Do we think these two guys are in love with each other? Do we think Lando is in love with him? It definitely does seem that I think he's attracted to him. I'm putting it out there. Maybe I'm wrong. And hey, like I said, there's nothing wrong with if he is gay or bisexual. It doesn't matter. But what do you think? Cheers, lads.